Welcome to Prime Time, bitch! Ha 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 ha!
Se va, sáquenme la botella que funda para gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. So baile, baby, ese seguro y retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito, mami, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo para ti. Lo que tengo para ti. Sé que te va a encantar.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and like always, our other host is here, and that is Gametime Bryan. Welcome back, sir. Been a couple of weeks, but again, trying to get into a rhythm, and as things are happening, obviously we have more to talk about. You go ahead and say hello to the people.
Hello, people. Hello, people. Good evening, everybody. I'm doing well, Phil. I hope all the people out there in YouTube land are doing well. Everybody in the chat. I'm doing good. It's going to be a fun show because we haven't talked in a little bit. And I'm curious to see where you're at. But what's up, brother? How you doing? I love that. Primetime Studios being held up by Club Downs. I love it.
Club Downs, yep, exactly. The 1-2. Lockdown, lock 1-2, 1-2, lockdown. I love that you put that. Every time, I swear, my cheeks get red every single time I see that shit at the end of your videos.
Lockdown.
Yeah.
Mark didn't even look. He didn't even comprehend a word you were saying.
No. He was. I think it's kind of funny though, as I've seen draft reaction
but you were
videos
on it early though.
As I was when I was watching reaction videos, I saw a lot of where you and Mark popping in those Cowboy reaction videos as well, that people are putting you on their little collage as well. So I thought that was really cool. Really cool. Shout out to you guys. But an exciting time, of course, at the NFL draft, where we, of course, got our first pick. And I kind of just wanted to put something together to kind of, I haven't really, kind of presented it more. And I thought it did deserve some kind of praise. But anyways, Bryan, welcome back, sir. I know, we don't have a lot in the sense of moves or anything that are happening, but of course, Cowboys changing things in this off season, and so I thought, with the storm kind of clearing from the last episode, I kind of want to talk about the cleaning up process. And I think there's a lot to talk about in so many different subjects when you're talking about cleaning up what the mess of the 30 years that have been building up, corrosions or just getting under, lifting a carpet and kind of, or taking it out and just banging the shit out of it right there on the clothesline. But otherwise, yeah, exact pause. But anyways, Bryan, I kind of focused on this because I think this is a big thing we've been having to deal with for the past couple of years, just in the sense of obviously we weren't thinking our team was going to do an amazing job, Super Bowl bound last year or anything like that. But, we definitely didn't expect that defense to be as horrendous as it was. So I think, when you're talking about cleaning up and even thinking about that type of stuff, are you going to be able to clean up the reputation that you possibly had with a Dan Quinn leaving and you wouldn't be able to find anything? But, so I thought it was a really good, off-season type of topic. So, Bryan, how has this past week been? Have you heard any Cowboy news that we want to discuss before we talk about cleaning up?
Yeah, well, I have a couple little tidbits, and this is confirmed by the father. Savon Revell has
number 28.
The brace is gone. The brace is gone. More importantly, the knee brace is gone. Again, that is, I would say, I know everybody's on the Ezeraku. I think Ezeraku's going to be fine, everybody. I don't know where he fits in his defense, but, I mean, he's a player. I did like what I saw with Easy towards the end of the year. It didn't result in sacks, but if Easy was one of the guys who was getting pressure with a bad hip on the regular. But I think going into this season, I think our cornerback situation is what everybody is like talking about. And I would say at the star, they're like, okay, there's Deron Bland. This is back to back, surgeries on the same foot, but Savon Ravel, Phil, your thoughts that has lost the brace. We've talked about him not being able to. He was never comfortable. He re-aggravated it last year at training camp. He wanted to play. They wanted him to play. He's a shiny new toy. Probably in retrospect, I don't know that it hurt him because he had already injured it in the training camp. I guess it was fine that he got out there and at least saw a few games. What's your thought on that before we get into? Ravel, no brace.
Yeah.
And do you think there was any positives in him playing a few games last year?
When I look at, if you were to blank Ravel, take the Ravel and we make a little ad lib about that name and we stick any type of name in that, and you're going to say, did they play well? I don't think anybody in this defense played well. Did Quentin Williams play better than what he played from the Jets? I think the motivation stuff. So yes, I think there was a player there that improved. But when you look about everybody else, maybe Murray isn't as terrible as he was reacting and stuff. So to me, I don't think anybody looked good, and I don't think there was a great decision. I don't think there are great decisions when it comes to the injuries and being able to do that. I think even when you looked at Diggs, where he had that injury and they wanted him on a certain program, you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. I think you got to follow their program, and I understand maybe his hesitancy, just because like the history shows you that, hey, anybody that's injured with this medical staff doesn't tend to come back, or if they come back, it's only temporarily, and so to prevention injuries is not there as well too. So I don't know if it's the cream of the crop that you're picking, but coming back from an injury and playing through it in general, it's never great. Your numbers are never going to look amazing unless you're a defensive tackle that's holding up positions, and you don't need to have the stats. I think every single position, coming back, and when you're not 100% is obviously going to make you not look great. I think the only, even think about it, even a kicker, you don't come back, 100%, you're going to have your ifs and ands and buts. I thought Ravel, again, there's certain flashes, and I really liked those flashes. But then again, I like Carson, some of those flashes as well too. But I've seen some bad film on Carson, where Ravel, I felt like I haven't seen all that bad film. I just see a corner learning.
Ravel has pedigree. Everybody said it. He was the number one. He was a first-round draft pick. He has everything you want in a corner. I think he is vital to our success long term.
Yeah,
at the corner. Let's put it this way.
Definitely. Right now, if he doesn't hit, you've already set yourself back.
Hit, though,
yeah.
Because I think we're all assuming that it's going to be maybe a little bit better than last year, and that's it. If he comes out and plays up to expectation, I'm not saying all pro level. I'm saying a starter in the NFL, you get a couple picks, and he starts gathering momentum. Well, now it totally changes everything on that defense. Now in your mind, and it was funny. The Athletic, I was reading an article the other day, and their best off-season NFL pickup, low-key pickup, because I know this is going to get a lot of eyes. Oh, wow. Their best low-key pickup in the whole entire NFL on the cheap was getting a Kobe Durant. I know you're not a big Kendrick fan, but Kobe Durant played in the playoffs last year. He is a starter in the NFL. He became expendable. Surprising they got him. I think they paid $4 million or something, but it's a 1-year deal. Maybe, I don't know.
I like the move. I like the move just in the sense you have somebody that's played the position. He's played at a high level.
Right. You needed that.
And you need that. I'm not going to say that he's going to transition. He'll play that high level immediately as he comes over. Not saying that.
But he's
but
a
at least
competent...
okay, I know you can do it.
You can play the outside.
Yeah.
If I'm just saying, I was surprised that they rated him
And
as
that's
a low key, under the radar.
Well, I think
really
that's your
dude,
insurance. That's where you have to put it in there because Ravel,
Right.
Carson, you're going. Oh, we hope that they can do it. You haven't shown it yet. Maybe one play out of nowhere, and stuff. So I think that's where you're like, look, man, we need to find somebody because these guys are still
It was a perfect
developing
storm
a
last
potential.
year.
Yeah.
It was a perfect storm last year with Bland getting hurt again, drafting and trying to rely on a rookie that got hurt, and then trading your best pass rusher and not really replacing him.
Yeah, let's be real. I mean,
that was
I
a perfect storm of a shit show.
Trust
right?
me, I like the pass rushers that we have, but I still don't think we have that guy. We still don't have that dude,
We can talk about that later.
The cleaning up and stuff like that. But that's
Yeah,
still a
we're
mess. I think
cleaning
that's still going on. But
we need to clean that
No,
up.
I think that's a great job. I think that's the first subject that we need to kind of talk about. Can this secondary coaching staff that has come over from Arizona, of course, and everything, clean up Al Harris leaving and everything like that? Like, clean up the mess that the secondary hasn't been able to live up to the reputations of just being, available. I mean, just being even football available. But again, when you point out to every single one of those guys, I could talk to Bland. We can talk about Carson's. We can talk about Ravel. We can talk about every single one. Bridges. We can talk about every single one of them has had some kind of significant injury that causes their season to be out for the past 2 to 3 years. And so that's where you're like piecing together, hoping that it'd be different if every single one of them was like the same bolt where you just like, okay, that one's bolted, screw it off. We need to let that one restrip that and just put another bolt on there. But that's not the case. That's not how players play. And so the fact that you're having to rely on guys that aren't getting chemistry together
Well,
because
you
they're not
have
playing
a
consistently.
number one. Again, we have a first-round talent that is a young man in the NFL that was injured last year. Everybody knew it. That's why he went where he went, right? Just like McCoy, is that his name? McCoy out of Tennessee this year. The reason why he dropped, because he's injured. He was injured. Dallas drafted an injured player. But the pedigree of this player is top-notch, so that's why I brought him up. If Ravel has lost a brace and is anywhere close to what they thought he was coming out of college, then watch out, okay? You can't move the bar and change the narrative and say, oh, but he was injured. They drafted him injured, which is why he was even available. Okay, he was the best corner in the draft last year.
That's why McCoy on the board, like, you guys got to go McCoy. I was like, all right, let's get another injured freaking corner.
We can't have another one, but, I get it.
But I like the fact that all of them, you have seen it somewhere, whether it's in college, whether it's something like that, you have seen them play at a very high level. So you're hoping they can get there when they're playing. But again, still need to go through. There's like a Overshown. I mean, Overshown, we love the way Overshown plays, but he's got to stay healthy.
He's got to stay
available.
healthy.
Yep.
And, you know how it works with Dallas. He'll have a fantastic year this year, and his market will go through the roof as a free agent. That's what's going to happen. Everybody, get ready. The Marvin Overshown, now he's got David Mulligetta. He's going to make himself a lot of money this year. He's going to stay healthy.
I hope so. That means that he was available,
obviously.
and that means he played at a high level, and I hope so.
It's
I
all
hope he
good,
drives it
people,
up.
but that's our luck.
I hope he drives that shit up.
I know, and I'm not poo-pooing.
I want my
it, but
third round draft pick.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah, we'll get the we'll get the comp pick because there ain't no way we're resigning them. But on a serious note, I don't know that we are. We're not, but that's what's going to happen.
We got no choice, Drew. We got no choice,
And
Drew. That's the new part of our rosters are our rookies, man. We have to.
Well, listen, this safety room that we have now is as good a safety room as we had in 20 years.
Yeah,
Not since.
I liked when Curse and Hooker and all those guys kind of got put onto the
were
board.
Nowhere near.
But they're not.
You have to go back to Ken Hamlin, Gerald Sensabaugh, and Roy Williams. That was the last time we had real good safeties, and I'm talking early Roy Williams, not after the NFL. After I don't know what happened. He put on a little weight. NFL realized
eating that barbecue down in Dallas. It was like,
you can't.
It got a little thick.
It was a downhill in the box safety. Prior to that, it's forever. Again, I'm very excited. You forget we went out and got Jalen Thompson. We do have Malik Hooker. Now, I did see Bleed Blue says, can he be cut? Again, he's not a Christian Parker guy.
Well, I mean,
of course he can.
He's not the
But I
same
don't
one.
think
He
that's
changed his
gonna
number to
happen.
24. He's a different hooker.
Oh,
Pause.
is he? He changed his number?
Yeah, I think 28 now is Ravel. Ravel's 28 now.
Okay, I like that. All
Yeah,
right.
and then
that's
Hooker's
all right.
number 24. Our boy Devin Moore is 29. So I was
Yeah,
looking at some numbers before. I was
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
who's
realize that they were already at minicamp again. Are you working on that, or are we just
I
gonna let
asked my one of my boys to reach out and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to hear something.
The problem is they need to stay in contact with him before he gets too big, and then you ain't.
This is the
gonna
one
get
that had all the crap happening with the ex and everything. So he's.
Oh, okay. Well, let him slide, but he needs to, he needs to make the
Yeah,
connection
you need to
in
get
the
that
next
shit
month.
going, man. Yes.
Yeah, before training camp, we need to have him in here. But yeah, so again, everybody, that's a glaring concern is a secondary. Now, I'm in a group text with a few people, and they brought up the absence of Jordan Lewis and how much we missed him. We absolutely did, but I want to remind everybody in that group text, Jordan Lewis got hurt last year. So
He gets hurt every year.
he was not available at the
He gets
end.
hurt
of
every
the
year. I love his dog mentality.
I
Though.
love him,
missed him.
but he was not available. So again,
He would just been perfect. He was in that roster, moving around, that nobody's available.
he made
all
over
the
$10
time.
million a year. I like where we're going with, I like where we're going.
Yeah.
But it's in, like I told Rob A, it's in concert with a pass rush. I like some of the moves they did.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
do.
can only go with what's available to you.
But I need to see it. I'm at that stage already where on paper is one thing, but I need to see it come together because my mind is not allowing me to get where some of you guys are going with the Dallas Cowboys. I want to make the playoffs. To me, I'm a cusp playoff team right now. I need to see them. I see guys saying 12 wins before we've even.
Dude, yeah, exactly. I need to see somebody not react.
I need
I need
something.
I need to see some linebackers react to holes being opened up, things like that.
Were we
before,
watching the same team last year? Everybody on defense. It's amazing that we did as well as we did in division. Really. The last game aside, who cares about the last couple weeks? It was over by then. But, I need to see it, everybody. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I need to see it. And this is all part of the cleanup process. They haven't cleaned up much with this roster, Phil. Any trades that happen, I just want everybody, and if you want to talk about it, Phil, we can get into the latest rumor. The latest rumor is that Myles Garrett is not going to play with the Cleveland Browns this year. He has told them that he doesn't want to play there. So, of course, Dallas, he wants to play at Dallas. Yeah, Dallas this, Dallas that. I don't know, but if I'm the Ezeraku, Phil, if there was a trade to be done, Ezeraku's probably part of the deal. He wasn't a Christian Parker pick. You know how that goes. Look how fast they turned on Maris Leofau, Phil.
Yeah.
He was the knight in shining armor under Mike Zimmer. We bring in Matt Eberfuss, and he goes and is the water boy.
Well,
right?
Let's be real. Right now, him going to outside linebacker doesn't blow my skirt up.
No.
I think he should be a safety. I honestly believe that he should be a strong safety that comes down in the box, kind of a Palomalu type of safety. And I'm not putting it because of the hair.
The guy from Seattle too. What was his name? Big guy, the big safety.
Chandler?
Anyway, yeah. Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor.
Yeah. Like a Cam Chancellor. It's funny because I was thinking the same type of deal, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's why people being moved around it. I don't particularly like that move. But I got to see them in action. All of a sudden, you could be amazing. I'm like, okay, I did not see that coming at all. But coffee here.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm pounding the coffee.
Coffee. Gotta get that coffee.
I'm pounding the coffee.
Okay, so but anyways, what I wanted to kind of talk about is definitely the cleanup. We can start on defense because I think that's the thing that needs the most cleaning up.
Yeah, bingo.
We talk about the safety, not the safety position, but the secondary. I think shifting over to the secondary, I think that's something that has been cleaned up. I think if anything, you have a potential of losing some potential star there, whether it's a Clark, whether it's something there. Bell, I think you can kind of dangle out there, but I think his contract doesn't allow it too much. I don't know. But how are you feeling? And then I know you were saying you feel like it's the best safety room we go. To you, what makes it that way?
Well, you got Jalen Thompson. He's a top 10 safety in the league. Okay, they have paid more. They paid Jalen Thompson more in free agency than they have paid anybody else in quite some time. I mean, I'd have to look it up, but I would probably Brandon Carr. I would say that. That's how much. I mean, that's a while back. Jalen Thompson. Jalen Thompson may be the dark horse to wear the green dot. Now, that's something I want to talk about while we're talking about who's going to, like we're talking secondary. That's a guy that you could, but what cracks him up just real quick, Phil, when everybody talks about the green dot. This is a relatively new thing. They used to play football all the time without communication. So let's not act like that's the end all be all being a green dot in the NFL. The green dot is what? I don't know.
The thing about it is, I think that's what's kind of funny because, like, when I remember playing, through high school and everything like that, there was no green dot. There was a guy that brought in to play, usually the middle linebacker or whoever was switching out. And then you had your secondary guy that was kind of, controlling the secondary. Then you got your linebackers or your linemen that were controlling what the line was doing. So I think one guy controlling everything, again, unless they can really oversee everything and really understand the playbook and know where everybody's supposed to be lined up. If somebody's in the raw, needs to scoot over an inch or whatever, I think that's different. But really, honestly, again, where Parker's looking at, you need guys that can think about it and not having somebody else direct them because they're able to see something developing or some pre-motion within the offense and stuff like that. I mean, and that's a lot to ask for young guys or new guys that are learning a new defense. But either way, I mean, that's the kind of guys you're looking for because right now I don't know if any fan can really point out exactly. We all know who we want to wear the green dot, but I don't think we can point out and say he sure is the green dot.
It could be D winners. It could be overshown. I don't know. I really don't care. I think it's so
as Mark
overrated.
says, the blue dot.
I can't. Yeah, blue dot.
That's a blue chip. I think that's a blue chip. That's a prospect.
Yeah, you caught that, right?
I caught it. I was like, blue dot. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
He's like a red dot. It's like, oh, he's an Indian. Okay, I was like, what's
Phil
the
was saying lockdowns, and Mark was saying blue dot.
And he had to do that right in front of the Dallas Cowboys people. It made me look all stupid.
Oh, and by the way, Phil, just because they didn't turn it around and use it right away, they will use it in future years.
Yeah.
They're going to use it. Relax.
At no point.
They didn't use it.
Yeah, well, I mean, are any of us really attractive? They probably had some attractive ones.
Would
be back there in the archives.
I thought it was good. I thought that clip was fairly good. We had Mark doing some weird, it was like a chipmunk dance from. At
least he wasn't crying.
From Caddyshack.
All
right. We got downs. And then we got Phil saying lockdowns.
Yeah, I was like, I wish if I could take something back, that would be it.
Ready to go right now or something. Anyway, let's continue on with the secondary. Yeah, that's my main concern is Bland coming back and being able to get close to where he was. I understand how it works.
I like you a lot, but man, you put words in people's mouth. Your wife must love you. It's like he goes, you don't even know who's gonna wear the green dot, but your defense is supposed to make this huge jump. I guess from 30 to like 20, that's a huge jump. I guess that's our expectation.
Green dot is overrated,
Whoa,
brother.
20. Whoa, 20. Good. 20 is ranked.
I'm telling you, they played football for years and years and years without a green dot or a blue dot. They're not.
We're not talking top 10, top 15.
We
ain't even talking about that.
World. And oh, by the way, when your player gets hurt, there's somebody else that's trained that will take it over, and it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. It's really just about you getting the play in on defense. That's really what it's about. But D winners could be that. But yeah,
Well,
like before we move away from the secondary.
I think which was kind of interesting because when I was hearing, even with Broadus and stuff, when I was first hearing about the move, I was hearing that he did not wear the green dot and everything. And then when there was an interview, he talked about how he did wear it. Like, he did have it at moments and stuff like that and doing stuff. And so I was like, oh, that's very interesting.
I heard that the guy in Miami, the safety, never wore doesn't really like wearing the green dot. Jordan Phillips. So that's what I had heard. Jordan Phillips or whatever. Jordan, whatever.
Okay, so Primetime, let's not act like there's Dallas content guys saying this. Come on. So you're looping us with them. You want us to loop you up with other Eagle people? Okay, if you want to play it down that category, we can do that. But really, honestly, when I'm talking about the cleaning up, obviously the secondary, I think, getting a draft pick, whether he's there, what his role going to be. I don't exactly like the fact that he's going to be your nickel person in the first year, or they're talking like that. It's just, I think you should have other guys that are doing that, and I think, honestly, to tell you the truth, you should be rotating other people out and leaving Downs in there. I think you just need to kind of start getting him comfortable in that spot. And anybody else is really, honestly, expendable in the sense that, like, whether you're going a 3 safety situation, I don't think he's the one that should be coming off the field. Oh, well, he's going to be on the slot, and then he's going to go back, and he's going I don't know, man. I'm not exactly thrilled about that particular guy.
You got Malik Hooker, P.J. Locke. I can always forget P.J. Locke, who I really like.
Lockdown.
Malik
Lockdown.
Hooker.
The 1-2. Lockdown. Lock 1-2.
P.J. Locke. You got Jalen Thompson. I mean, again, and that's not counting.
You raise your floor on it, and you're
yeah,
whether
absolutely.
you got stars
got
or
Kleb
Pro
Downs.
Bowlers, we don't know yet. But
Kleb.
Again, it's just at least you raised your floor.
In a 3-4, Kleb's gonna be what they call.
I can't remember how bad he butchered it, so I can't even make fun of it because it's like I go to say it, I'm like Kleb.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep saying it.
Malachi Lawrence over there.
Yeah. Malachi
Lawrence. No, Malachi.
Caleb Downs. He's gonna be the nickel back in a 3-4. That's basically he's gonna be the nickel corner. Now he will play safety, but in a 3-4 it's a little different. So he will be right now, just the depth chart. I mean, everybody, because of Savon Ravel, he is not the starter as of yet. They're actually starting Kobe Durant.
Yeah, they should. I'm just saying, Bryan,
That's
Durant,
what I'm trying to
those
tell
other
people.
Guys that are iffy are
Kobe
definitely
Durant's pretty darn good, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he's more than serviceable. He literally had picked like a pick in the playoff game last year. He's pretty darn good. So at least for this year, we have a star. I mean, that's all we can go with. I mean, I like him. Deron Bland is the one that he needs to, come back from this. I mean, if he comes back and is anywhere close to where he's been, he'll give up plays, of course. He's not shut down, but he is a playmaker. Deron Bland is more than capable. And now with Caleb Downs, Phil, who's going to play the nickel, that's definitely a major upgrade. Not to mention just everybody being in the right spot. That's what I was telling you.
When you're talking about the upgrade from what? What do we have last year in the nickel? Who was the nickel guy? When you really think about it, it was a community service thing. I think whoever got in trouble that week and was like, all right, well, we're gonna put you on community service. You're gonna be playing the nickel this week. Oh man, not the nickel. Like that's how it kind of felt. It felt like it was just a no man's land that was like, okay, there is nobody that's taking that spot. There's nobody that's making its own. And we really miss Jordan Lewis. Freaking Jerry was doing the whole ex-girlfriend thing. And, I miss him. Touching the mirror and stuff with J. Lou's picture up there and stuff. But I miss his dog. I thought he always was. When we saw him at Michigan and everything, I thought he was always on the hip. When he's playing, he is a dog. I mean, how many times him and that Pickens thing that happened, I thought that was hilarious. It was because he was getting in Pickens' head. And he came up with a big play. I mean, even his last play as a Dallas Cowboy, I swear it was an interception, if I remember right. So I mean, to me, I think that he's just a playmaker. Again, just got to stay healthy. But it's one of those guys that you don't mind keeping on your roster as he does get hurt. It was kind of like a Sean Lee. You're like, when he plays, he's definitely good. But you just got to know that he's going to be injured a lot of the time. So anyway, so let's shift down. We'll go down a little bit. This is where I think we haven't cleaned up enough. I think there's still a lot of built up here. We need to kind of talk about. We're going to go talk about the linebackers. Obviously, D. Winters you're talking about in the sense of coming, getting in the offseason, I think at a good spot. They were trying to originally, of course, 49ers were really trying to trade that with Osa trade. Dallas wanted the pick.
They tried to. Yeah, the Dallas wanted a 3rd round pick. They wanted to do a D. Winters and maybe a later pick for Osa. And again, D. Winters. Everybody, like the people that I trust, because I ain't gonna lie. I mean, he did have the pick 6 last year. He's very active for a linebacker at over 100 tackles. First time he's got a chance. Remember, he was he was drafted at TCU, Phil, and they had Fred Warner and the other guy who's back. Please help me. He went, Greenlaw. So he had it was tough for him to see the field. And then when they moved on from Greenlaw, he finally got his chance. He played every game last year. And he had over 100 tackles. He had the pick 6.
He had to take over a lot when Fred Warner went down as well, too. So, I mean.
Yeah, I think that is a sneaky. It actually surprised me because he wasn't on my radar.
Melvin, unfortunately, you might be right. You might be right. We don't even know yet,
Dude,
but you
Melvin,
might be right.
Again, that's not a bad thing, brother.
But
D. Winters.
I mean, when you don't know.
Obviously, Overstone is an unbelievable athlete.
Yeah, he's a
can we all agree with that?
Yeah, he's a bullet out of the, coming in.
We know he
needs
to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But don't you think that these two guys together could be something special this year?
Yeah, I definitely could.
In a base 3-4, I mean, in a nickel, you're only going to start 2.
Who's your substitutes for those as well, too, though? Like, when they have to come out, like, who's substituting in for them?
Well, you got Shamar James, and you got Jay-Sean Barnum.
Jay-Sean Barnum was going to be one of them.
And you got Shamar James. And then you got Maris Leofau. And don't forget the other 49er that we got is Curtis Robinson. So we got 2 49ers, everybody. We got
that stuff.
What's that?
That's definitely an upgrade from last year. I don't know how I don't know how appealing it is and everything, but it definitely is better than last year.
And don't forget Justin Barron. They love Justin Barron out of Syracuse. The big dude, number 55, kind of a Van Der Esch-like guy or light. I'm just saying we got bodies there. Is it what everybody wants? But I got news for you, Phil. And I'm sorry to talk. I'm not trying to talk over you.
Go ahead. You're good.
I got news for you. You can't go out, especially when you're paying your quarterback $60 million. Just go out and just sign all the All-Stars. That's easy. You need to hit with some of these guys. And, if they hit, it could be something really good. Yeah. But they need to hit. They don't have to hit with every pick. I'm not saying that because that's not, not. Yeah, but they need to hit. And
they definitely do. They definitely do because it just sets you back, especially when you're not obviously your intention this year. Oh, we're gonna go out there and get some free agency. We're gonna spend. And yeah, you want to, but you're not gonna go and put yourself in a hole and be like, oh well, we overbid for this and we got into a situation where we did give up everything for Crosby and the situation isn't great. Again, I would have gambled a little bit on that just because I think he's the type of dude that's going to play no matter what. He'll give you at least 3 years, and I think that's what that contract is kind of worth. When you look at just the moves that they did, they were limited as well too. So it wasn't like a great offseason. And so you go off and get a draft. I'm pretty proud draft. In a sense, again, you do it year 2 where you're allowing the scouts more to take control. And you're like, look, I'm looking for this kind of guy. And you go out and you find that type of guy. So I got to give the scouts credit in that sense because, I don't know if I could do that. I know I have ideas and everything, but to have that as your main job, I think that would be a little bit intimidating. But it's kind of a cool thing because as I watched this stuff, I was like, man, it'd be really cool to get paid for this. At the same time, it's kind of a dream job for them. But when they're looking at that, I think there's so many things. When I look at these rookies coming in, your Jason that we were talking about. Again, I really like how he moves around people as they're going to block him. But again, him and of course our third, what was it, the pass rusher, Lawrence. I think there's no counter moves. Once they get grabbed and their initial move doesn't happen, they don't have that second move and stuff. So I think that's something they're going to need to elevate. When you're looking at some of these guys, even when you're looking at some of our offensive guys, they need to put on some weight. They need to get the NFL type of weight going on. So I think that's a lot of the problem with your linebackers as well, too, because your backups, man, they need to eat some peanut butter. Let's just be real, man. I got no, like, when you looked at San Francisco, and I'm going to give him as an example, when you look at Fred Warner, he looks like a freaking linebacker, doesn't he? Like, our guys are like got Louis Leofau out there, you know, looking like him. Like, he needs a freaking sandwich, you know? So that's why I thought he was more of a safety. But anyway, so how are you feeling about the linebacking core and just how it compared to last year, you know?
Well, it's better than last year, but we have to see it. Again, a lot of moving parts. You know, Overshown needs to stay healthy, but he's in a final year of a deal. It could be, again, everybody wants to poo-poo it. DeMarvion Overshown is a highly talented individual. So he just needs to stay healthy. He didn't have a knee injury last year. He got through the year.
That's such a repeated line. He's a good talent, but he's got to stay healthy. You know, that's our second.
Well, he's got to. D. Winter stayed healthy all year, and he's playing for a contract. Yeah. So he's a local kid. Wouldn't he like to, wouldn't he like...
Melvin, I love it. That's awesome.
What's that?
Injuries make him undershown.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So
hold on. I gotta give you one. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I don't think I have it. Nope, that wasn't it. Sorry, I don't have it keyed up. Gotta figure out where that was at. Oh, there he goes. I found it. You can tell I haven't used that one in a while. But okay, so. Again, our linebackers, even if you replace somebody, and I know I've been talking about a Bobby Wagner, but even if you got a guy like that, he's very suspect in the passing game. So you don't, how much are you really improving and stuff like that. So I think everybody you have an overall linebacker that's going to be able to do it. That's what I'm hoping to see with some of these new guys. But I just don't feel. I think everybody you have in there's like. They do one thing well, or it's hardly, they're a good rusher and they're good in the coverage and stuff. So, depending on what they do there, I think you're going to be able to predict, hey, okay, we're going to attack this linebacker because he struggles a little bit. I think you were seeing a lot of that last year with Murray and just getting him out of position very easily with a real quick move. So, you're hoping that a big improvement from your linebacker core, of course, with the different linebacking coach. I think that's the big difference. And it needs to be the difference, really. But let's move down one more because, of course, the linebacker position, I think, you talked about it, but I think it kind of merges a little bit with what the linemen are because you're going to do more spread out in the sense of your outside linebackers are going to be almost like your edge rushers in that sense. But how are you feeling about the defensive line compared to last year where we've, feeling pretty okay about the defensive line? It was improvements. We didn't think it was going to be all pro or anything like that, but we liked the potential of what was happening, who we were drafting and stuff like that. Definitely a difference interior than what we had last year. How are you feeling about the defensive line now?
The interior, is that what we're talking about?
Well, interior, exterior, I think defensive line goes in there, so we can start interior right now.
Yeah, let's start interior. Well, we did not. Again, we had Kenny Clark at the at the start of the season. He was that late trade a week before the start of the regular season, right? Where Kenny Clark was here. They played Kenny Clark way too much. He started out like gangbusters.
That's what I said last year. You can't. He has a certain limit of snaps, and that's where you have to play him.
They relied on him. He was pretty much it up until the Quinnen Williams trade. Then we saw the run. People were having a hard time running the football against us. Since that trade, our run defense really upped it. Was really good. So, to have them in a full offseason, Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, you moved on from Osa. It's funny how all the trolls will say, well, Osa was overrated, this and that. Now it's, you got to replace Osa.
I think Osa was a very good pass rushing defensive tackle.
I do. But he wasn't fitting in the 3-4. So once you went to a 3-4,
and how much you were spending in defensive tackle? You had 3 defensive tackles that are going to be making 20 plus million.
You had to go with a big body.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to go with a big body. So actually, right now, the way it's going to sit, it's going to be Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, and Otito Agbani from the Chargers. People forget. We went out and got a big boy in Agbonia out of the Chargers. He is a
And then
starter
Bullock,
for the
you
Cowboys.
Think, I think they'll have 4 defensive tackles. I think that's what you'll end up
Well,
having.
obviously, those three, and then Rashawn Gary, and then
With Gary on the outside,
and then
7.
Donovan Easy Ezeraku. That would be the starters as of today. But I love the additions of Agbonia, Jonathan Bullard. Let's not forget the addition of Jonathan Bullard, a 10-year veteran in the league, played with the New Orleans Saints. Jonathan Bullard.
Yep.
If you don't know about Jonathan Bullard, do your homework.
Yeah, I
before
think
you
to me, I think unless he does something that he gets injured, because I think that McCoy kind of reminds me of that. Remember Jared McCoy? We got him in here all of a sudden, bam, off season injured, was never really able to play a snap. So you're just hoping that he's able to push through the off season, because I really think he could be that 4th defensive tackle that makes this roster. Because you have guys that are going to be put on your practice.
He's just a run stuffer. He played he played with New Orleans last.
Let me tell you about your pass rushers, but let me answer this question real quick. Let's see here. Let me highlight it. That Drew says, hold on, he had a question. He says, question, Overshown is a 3-4-3 linebacker. Another asks is to play the mic in a 3-4. Is this too much, or are you asking for another injury? God forbid. I think you're asking for another injury. I think you gotta allow him to kind of run around, not take up blocks. So I think where they had him, I think it works out better when he's on a 3-4, because he's not the main middle linebacker taking up any kind of blocks. So now you have 2 split in certain gaps and watching certain gaps. So now you're not, controlling the whole interior. You're only controlling half of it and stuff like that, or only half of that line. And so I think if anything, it's more beneficial. But I wouldn't necessarily put a label in that sense, just because, I think if you start putting him into blocks, or taking those on, I think he will not last. Just because, again, he's a finesse type of guy that likes to move around blocks. Not one of those guys like a defensive tackle taking on those blocks. And I think when you look at your Mike linebacker, I think most of the time those are those guys that can take on the block, hold it, shed it, those kind of things. Look and see what's happening in the run and do that. I don't think. Maybe he has some powers to occasionally do that, but I don't think that's his main thing. And I think if he made that his main thing, I think you would see him struggle through the year. And I think eventually an injury would happen. But anyway, so go back to pass rushers. Now, when you look at the pass rushers cleaning up the mess.
You got LT Overton, too.
Yeah. Oh,
so
that's another
LT
one.
Overton.
I think, again.
He's going to play the interior. He's one of the strongest guys to come out this year as far as defensive linemen at the University of Alabama. LT Overton is a guy
when I look at it, I look at that lower body. He needs to kind of get those calves going a little bit.
And that's possible, but he was... At the combine, he was one of the strongest.
Oh, I hear
guys.
Very many people ranting and raving about it.
He's very strong, so however he looks, it doesn't really equate to actual strength in the weight room. Yeah, maybe. I mean, all I would say is, like guys like Jay Tuia, who wasn't drafted by this group, they are on notice. They are on notice. You have to, like you're gonna have to be a producer. You won't be on this team.
Yeah.
Very deep on that defensive interior line now, as deep as I can remember in a while. Like high end. With the first 3 guys, and then outside of that, it's some nice depth there. So I like it. I like what they did with the defensive line. I think they're set to play in a 3-4. Now I would ask you this, Phil: where do we stand compared to a game 1 last year from the edge rusher position? Just remember, we didn't bring Jadeveon Clowney in until late in the process. He didn't even have a training camp.
Let me ask you a question. Do you see Rob A in the chat?
I do not.
Okay. I thought maybe somebody said something. I was like, I'm not seeing him. I'm like, just because I was like, did they block him?
I'm not staring at the chat. Hey, Kiana, how are you? But yeah, so who the hell was our edge rushers to start the year? Sam Williams?
Ooh, Sam Williams and no, it was Nealon. It was Nealon and
Marshawn Nealon, rest in
Marshawn
peace.
Nealon, rest in peace.
And
then
Sam
it was-
Williams, I believe.
And Izaraku was our rookie. Was going to be
But he was a
starting.
rookie, though. Yeah,
And Sam
he
Williams was
rookie.
our. We're like, oh, hopefully it'll be something.
So
But
for anybody to sit here and go, you didn't upgrade that at all.
no, we upgraded.
I don't know
big
what
time.
you guys are
We
looking at.
upgraded big time. Now, did we
I-
make it into elite status? And
Well,
we got a game plan
You don't
for
have
that
to
all
win
the
with
time.
elite status, though. That's my thing. You don't
I mean,
have
yeah,
to have.
you want that. I definitely want that. I think
You-
Houston was
well,
my guy.
that's-
James motherfucking Houston was my guy. I really liked going in there, and he was definitely making plays here and there. I just don't think he was getting enough plays and situations to be able to continue us that. But yeah, I think it changed a little bit when Clowney did come in, and oh man, it was just a big difference. I think, but that was how bad the other guys were doing. So he came in was even if he did average, he was looking like an all-star there. But when you look at what we have now,
Well, we got
low
Rashawn
key
Gary.
kind of definitely improved. Definitely improved.
I mean, Rashawn Gary is one of the best run-stuffing edge rushers in the game.
Well, I think that's what's
Believe
funny
it or
when
not.
people talk about his stats.
That's what
'cause
he
I
does
remember
well, is
packing,
stop the
I
run.
remember watching Packers games and just seeing him play. I'm like, damn, that guy's always making a play. And I was like, I don't know if it's because he's rushing away from Parsons. You're talking, but you're not. I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
I don't
I've
know
been
what
doing
you
that
said.
for a while then.
No. That was just now.
Okay.
Yeah. I could hear your annoying ass. You're good.
Rashawn Gary. He's arguably the best rushing, like
One that we have right
run-
now. Yeah, probably.
No, in the league, if you look it up, he's one of the best run stopping edge rushers. Now I know what people are saying. Well, you need him to get to the quarterback. I get it.
Yeah, but we also need
But
that.
he's a
But we also
very-
need. How many of those defensive guys do we see them rushing up a little bit too quickly and then are leaving big, huge holes
He don't have
for
a
the
lot
running
of
back?
moves. He's more of a straight line guy. He has good bends, but he's not going to give you 1,000 moves. He's just a up the field, stop the run edge rusher. Where they're going to live or die is on the other side, because I know we have Rashawn Gary. He's going to be another. There's going to be Ezra who's going to start. Now, if he takes a step and he stays, he had the hip surgery in the offseason that had been bothering him, and he that's going to be your starters. Now, again, they're going to be mixing them in big time. You got
wasn't gonna be
Malachi
tough.
Lawrence, right? You got Malachi Lawrence. He's going to get snaps.
Malachi.
Yeah. Malachi Lawrence. You got James Houston. Okay, he came on strong last year. You got Sam Williams, right? So again,
Yeah, Gary was never on the chopping block. They just weren't going to be able to re-sign him because they signed Parsons.
it was money reasons,
Yeah,
everybody.
that
It
was the
was
only reason
money
why.
reasons. It wasn't because of his talent.
No.
Dallas didn't want to have to compete because that's why they traded
Well,
for
let's just be
him.
real, man. Like
He
Dallas
would have
got
been on the
better
open
that one
market and
because-
got way more money.
Yep, and we wouldn't have been in that conversation.
Right, we wouldn't have got him.
But
Yeah, they
anyway,
got-
so as
yeah.
you're talking about that, we're talking about that
Josh
defense,
Butler,
linebackers.
Tyrus Wheat. Yeah.
Things. Let's switch over.
mean, Tyrus.
I want to switch over, but before we go to the offensive side of the ball, I think one part of the ball did we improve on, or did we get worse on, or did we stay the same? Re-signing, obviously our kicker, and then of course keeping Turpin on the team, which I think a lot of people are a little bit frustrated. I know me being with the 2 fair catches last year. I'm right there on the verge. Like I want him on this team. I think he's definitely could be a weapon. I haven't seen much from him, but him still being your punt returner, kick returner. Are you still happy about him being there?
Yeah, but I don't need him playing offense too much.
Yeah.
See, what I think what happened was, I think he got too excited
could've,
about
bro.
playing offense and forgot why he was originally on the team in the first place. I would be fine with trading him and going with somebody else on the roster, but I know that's probably not smart. But that's just me. I would rather do that. So, but yeah, he's one of the best special teamers in the game. 3-time a Pro Bowler with the Cowboys, but it definitely didn't show last year because he was too focused on trying to be an offensive threat. We don't need him to be an offensive threat. With the emergence of Flournoy We don't need him, right? I mean, just worry about being a gadget guy and getting the ball in the backfield. I do like that, or those smoke screens or something. Get the ball in his hands. I'm good with that. And just worry about kick and punt returns. I really think that was a problem with him. He was thinking offense. No, do you like?
No,
agree?
I really like Turpin. I think he's very fast. I mean, he makes sometimes some decisions that you're like, the moment of, you're like, what are you doing? You know, and I don't really like too much when they put him on offense. I think I'm with you. I don't think that he's not a difference maker. I just feel that the ball is about as big as his head. So I mean, you know, jumping over guys, going up and getting the ball, doing all that kind of stuff. I mean, he has to be open. He has to have his breadbasket kind of open to receive the ball, and he catches with his body. I'm not a very big body catcher kind of guy, especially with people can hit you, and let's be real, man. When the ball's that big with you, it can easily bounce off you as well too. So yeah, and I think we have so many more weapons now. Whether they can be kickoff return specialists and all that kind of stuff is a little different. But I think you have enough people there at wide receiver that are like, I wouldn't be totally disappointed if he turned around and was not here anymore. But I definitely see his value as well too. I think even if he wasn't here, he was somewhere. I think if he went somewhere else, all of a sudden you see him. Oh, he got 5 returns in the season. You're like, of course he fucking did. But let's talk about the kicker on the other side. Of course, kicker becoming the highest paid kicker in the NFL, $7 million. To me, I think there are some kickers in the NFL that are better in the sense we talked about Little in Jacksonville. But when you look at it, I think he's definitely worth that money to the fact that the game is on the line at the end. Once you get past that midfield, that's a weapon. Now, whether he makes it or not, again, that's always going to be the case with any kind of kicker. But I really do like the signing as well too. So how do you like us bringing back our kicker, even though we made him the highest paid?
Yeah, but I like the contract. That was always where it needed to be. His agent tried to, and that's what they do. They shot for the moon. I love Brandon Aubrey. I do. He's a weapon. I'm on record as saying, sometimes when you have a good field goal kicker, you rely on them too much. They're still, at the end of the day, they're still field goal kickers. They'll be good one game, and then you're like, what the hell's going on the next? Yep. They're all head cases. Sorry, Brandon. That's just a fact. So,
So I'm going to go ahead and shift over to the offensive side, and let's clean this up, and we'll talk about even the front office and that part of it as well. When you look at it, of course, we have to start with the quarterback position. When it comes to Dak, cleaning up those trash talks, can you win in the playoffs? Can he win when the game is on the matter? Can he actually lead this team when everybody else isn't playing? That's one thing that I would have to say. Is just when we talk about the team that they've had, there's been certain years that they've definitely had chances and stuff to really push through. Now, whether defense kind of lets them down, or the fact that in that 49ers game where that offense did not get going at all, I think we're at this point of his career, and the way that his paychecks is coming is that it doesn't matter anymore. And we've talked about it this year in the sense that, let's say you do put yourself in a position, you're getting paid enough, you're that person, you've been in the league enough, you understand how it works, that you need to be dragging this team to the finish line and not being like, well, we all didn't play well, and it's like, we wanted to give 100%. Like, you remember that whole thing on Bedazzled?
Yeah.
But to me, I think you're at that point where, like, hey, man, you're getting paycheck. You're taking up a lot of the roster salary itself, so you need to be able to make up for those shortcomings. And that's where, to me, that's where he's at right now. And we'll talk about the other quarterbacks right after. But go ahead. What do you think about Dak?
Dak is no more excuses, Dak. We need you to. I don't need him to throw for 4,300 yards again. I don't. I need him. The hope is that our defense is putting our offense in better positions, right? I mean, are we all hoping that? Sorry, my camera's all jacked. Hopefully that we're getting the ball turned over more than we did. We're making the teams punt a little more, scoring less. Better field position, not playing from behind. So, in a perfect world, Phil, Dak's numbers are down.
Hopefully,
just drive the bus, and I'm okay with that. I don't want to see him having to throw over and over and over. I think we need to rely on the running game. Yeah. So I like Dak. Outside of Dak, it's sketchy. I'm glad we went out and got Sam Howell. Not that he's the second coming, but I like Sam Howell better
Definitely
than
an
Joe.
improvement. Yeah, I definitely agree on that one as well too. Again, your Milton is your potential project quarterback, and I think on every roster,
if he has value.
Yeah, I think
trade
every roster should have that potential quarterback that you're just trying to prep up and see if you can do it. I just don't think you should be trading assets to get that type of guy. That just should be a guy that just stumbles into your lap. Like when we talked about with Bryan, he talks about, well, you should be drafting a quarterback every single year. I totally agree with that. But if you're not drafting it, you should be getting an undrafted free agent. You should be getting something from somewhere as a potential, whether it's on your practice squad or anything. I know the rules for the quarterback position has definitely changed, but I think you should be doing that. Period, just because again you don't know it reminds me of Green Bay. Remember when Green Bay had Brett Favre? Think about the carousel of quarterback. What was it? Brunell. There was Matt Hasselbeck. There was so many quarterbacks that were behind him that were being drafted by Holmgren and all them. So I would like to see that here as well too. But when you look at Milton, I think he's got such a long ways to go right now, unless he makes some kind of huge transition in the offseason. I don't know. When you don't really change your quarterback coach or that kind of stuff, is that person all of a sudden going to lock his potential? Now, don't get me wrong. I know if you have kids at home and you've told your kids, you need to be taking out the trash, you need to be taking out your shoes before you come into the house, and then one day it clicks. Is that what you're hoping that was happening with Milton? That one day he just clicks and he can read defenses and his accuracy all of a sudden just is on every single play. I just don't. Again, I don't see the all-star caliber thing right now, and I think it's going to get pretty quickly. It's going to become very, very old, where he's just taking up a roster spot.
I would try and move on from him. This is the plan I want. I would be in on if you could move on from him, and you could. There's a guy that's going to be in the supplemental draft. If we can get him for a day 3 draft pick, I would be in on Brendan Sorsby as our number 3 developmental quarterback out of Texas Tech. He's been ruled ineligible, everybody. So he's not. I know they're appealing it, but he's not going to be allowed to go back to Texas Tech. He had placed like 40 bets when he was with Indiana. Not against the team. But still, he has some issues as far as that's concerned. But nobody is doubting his talent. He's a 6'3". He's a big dude with a strong arm. Again, he's not perfect, but I mean, if we can get him for a supplemental day 3 pick, I don't know if they'll last that long. I would be okay with that and move on from Milton. That's what I would want to do. If we can get a quarterback with that kind of stature on the cheap to develop. Put a little more pressure on Dak, I would be good. But Dak's the guy right now. So
and again, it's like anybody's main quarterback goes down, unless you have a hell of a supporting cast around it. It's gonna be a tough rest of the season. But let's go down to the next one, because I think that's the next thing, and because there's gonna be some stuff that we're gonna agree on, not agree on. But the running back position, where I think there's a lot of question marks there, even though Javonte Williams definitely elevated that position for us, something that we were lacking in the physicality, just not getting stuffed. When you saw Zeke here, of course, you saw him run, get hit. That was it. He wasn't the old Zeke where he fall forward. You have a Javonte Williams that when he's getting hit, it's not just there. He's falling forward. He's pushing through that first tackle. Now, can he do it that second year, transitioning? Obviously playing in the same offense, but those taking those hits and stuff after a while. You're hoping that he can go, but a hell of a bounce back year. How are you feeling about Javonte Williams, of course, being our main running back?
Well, just in general, Dallas Cowboys finished the 2025 regular season ranked 9th in the league in rushing. 9th. So for a team who threw as much as they did, right? And Dak Prescott threw for 4,300 yards. They still ended up 9th in rushing. It was a very balanced attack on offense. Again, outside of the red zone, we get it.
And who was your number 2 running back?
Well, again, they rushed for 2,136 yards for an average of 125.6 yards a game. That's not bad. Anchored by Javonte. Javonte had 252 carries, Phil, for 1,201 yards and 11 touchdowns. He averaged 4.8 yards a carry. You cannot argue that, right? But let's go to Malik Davis. Okay, he actually had one less carrier. Actually, our number 2 running back was Dak. He had 53 carries for 177 yards, but Malik had 52 carries for 250 yards for a 4.8 yards a carry. So Jaden Blue, he didn't get in until late in the year. Yeah, 38 for 124 and a touchdown. Obviously, Miles Sanders got some touches, only 20 carries for 117 yards. Most of that was in the first couple games, right? And then he got hurt and then released, right? So I think you learned that he went on IR.
And that's how we saw it. We saw one of those guys moving, being probably your main guy, the other one going to be getting hurt. And we kind of predicted as well, maybe they're both going to get hurt, and they're going to share the time back and forth as the one's hurt, the other one's in there. So we really didn't know where it was going. I think, again, I don't get excited when I see Jaden Blue, like in college as well, too. I think there was, I was very surprised. I thought he was at least going to see a lot more of the field. So to hear that the coaching staff, like Schottenheimer, was not willing to put him out there, put him on the active roster as well, too, I think that said a whole hell of a lot. So I'm interested to see where you're going to see there, too. Because if your coaching staff doesn't believe in that you can just take a ball and run it forward, I mean, that to me, how bad are you doing? You're not hitting the hole correctly. Are you not bursting? Are you not reading? What's exactly that happens that you're not taking it serious? You're not taking the workout program serious. You don't know your plays. There's just so many question marks there, and I think you got Phil Maffa as well, another guy that you really never saw.
Talked about.
Go ahead.
Everybody seems to forget that we have Phil Maffa. And, we want to use college stats for some players, but not other players. At the University of Clemson, he averaged 5.1 yards in his 4-year career. Phil Maffa is a tough-ass runner. Didn't see the field. He played at the end of the year, didn't he? Maybe a few snaps. I don't know. I don't know that he ever did. He did. I know he was hurt on like they stashed him, basically. Phil Maffa, they love Phil Maffa. He averaged 5.1 yards in totality for his 4-year career. Again,
when you look at the overall running back, when you look at the overall running back room, I see the talent that is there, but man, it definitely lacks. I think there is some lacking of a difference maker, other than you need somebody that complements Javonte Williams, and you're hoping the blue that can stand up. I think serviceable. I think Malik does a very good job. He's a little bit more surprising, and he's just one of those the workhorses. Just comes back, gets cut, has to move here, move there, kind of thing. But just a little bit reliable when he comes in. But I think, can you improve? Hell yeah! I'm amazed that they didn't go out and get more or try to swing a little bit more for the fences with some of these undrafted guys. I think there are so many running backs out there that you could have at least snatched up to see hopefully some potential.
Again, I think that's a position, Phil, that if God forbid you need it, you can fill it. It's not like you can't. I mean, not that they wanted him, but they could have had. 2 years ago, they could have had one of the best running backs in the league, and they wanted no part of, what's his name, who's now in Baltimore. So, Derrick Henry. So, but Phil Maffa, again, he has a bright future. He had a lot of carries, 292 yards in 21, 515 yards. 68 carries in 21, 98 in 22.
But I think when you look at those, when you're talking about those stats, the 4.8, I think what the common factor is the interior of our line that we were talking about improving. Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, adding the other Tyler in the sense of Booker, a great addition as well too, and that's what we talked about, the interior line being able to get that push, being able to get those blocks as they played more and more together. I like to see that improvement, being able to double team and then move off that block into the secondary, into the linebacking core. So that's where you were seeing a lot of it, where sometimes they weren't getting hit until they were like 2 or 3 yards down the field. So definitely, I loved where our line was going in that sense. What do you think?
Is there a possibility that Israel Abanikanda beats out Jaden Blue? Again, everybody forgets, late season acquisition from the New York Jets. Israel Abanikanda, dude, is a 5'10", 217. He's only 23 years old. University of Pitt. remember DMV really talking big time about him in the Mozzie draft. We have a Banacanda on the roster.
Dude,
he is an explosive.
I think the only
back.
one that's guaranteed anything is Devontae Williams. That to me, that's the only one.
But I'm just saying, you asked about bodies. We didn't even see him. So we got a Banacanda, and by the way, we got Hunter Lepke. So again, fullback, I get it, but I'm fine with the running backs until further notice. God forbid there's an injury, then you address it. But how many are really going to carry?
I like the more of the veteran presence in that sense because again, you have some really unreliable guys, not unreliable but unproven. How about that? Unproven guys, and I think that's one of those positions where. You can find a diamond in the rough, but to find 3 or 4 diamonds in the rough behind it, I think that's a little bit asking some much of it. One thing I want to ask before we talk about the offensive line, I want to kind of, as we're talking about the things, you're talking about the fullback. Hunter Lemke, I think you saw a big jump in where they were using him. This coaching staff really likes him. I'm interested to see if he, I need to see him perfect his craft a little bit more before I kind of jump on that bandwagon. I did like the improvement in how when he was called upon, he would get some first downs we really needed badly. I haven't remembered him dropping a pass that we really needed him to catch. I think you've seen like Schoonmaker, for example, have a lot of those where you needed him to catch that and just dropped it. So I liked him compared to a Schoonmaker, but you don't have any competition for him. I think that's the part where I get kind of like when it comes to the fullback, I need a Daryl Johnson. I need a Mike Allstott. I need a guy that's going to get in there and just really. Just make people regret getting in there. Let's be real. Make people hate football. So to me, that's what I want in the fullback. And so when I see Hunter Lemke, I just see a guy that's my Timu fullback, and it just doesn't excite me. So, but I do like when he makes some plays as well too. So I know Hunter is your guy. So go ahead and prep. Talk about him a little bit.
Well, it's not that my guy, but not many teams even use a fullback. A lot of them use the H-back. Dallas did it for a few years. Dallas would always have a tight end, come into the backfield and be that H-back, and that's fine, but I think it is important to have a fullback. I don't know. I just think he's a guy. I mean, I think he's a guy that you need on your team. Not necessarily Hunter Lepke, but a guy like him who plays special teams, who is a hard-nosed guy. He can block. I thought he got better with his blocking. He's upright a little bit, but I like him with the ball in his hands. I just say if you need somebody to help you out with a half dozen carries, 4 or 5 carries in a game, I like it. Again, you're asking me about running backs. I think it's fine right now. I think we got just enough. We haven't seen Phil Mafia yet. If we're worried about running back, then that's a good thing to worry about because I thought Javonte had a fantastic season. So, I think we're good. And Malik Davis, poor Malik. All he does is deliver off of the couch, and
So let's go to that next level as we talk about the linebacker stuff. You're gonna get an offensive line that's gonna be working year 2 with each other. Where there isn't going to be a big shift. I think Steele, we were kind of question marking that. The fact that he took a big pay cut, that to me was one of those. Okay, you're going to make it a little bit harder for us to kind of walk away. We already had enough problems. We don't need to cause another one by kind of just going for the replacement here. So I'm okay with it. Of course, you got a guy that, still needs a lot to prove in the sense of Guyton, whether he's available, whether he's not available, whether he's going to take football serious, man. And I just, when I look at him, I don't take him serious right now. And so I really need to kind of see him really kind of commit himself before I really think of a left tackle, because let's be real, we've been spoiled with the left tackles in the past, how long? I mean, even some of the tackles we had were Steele, and then you had Doug Free, those kind of guys, they were serviceable. But when you look at Guyton and you look at Nathan Thomas, how are you feeling about the tackles going into this season? Just in the sense, at least, you're not having a rookie out there, but let's be real, man. And much time he missed, it's almost like still his rookies.
But Tyler Guyton needs to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. I think he was off to a really good start last year. You could tell the difference between his rookie year and last year. but he could not stay healthy. So we had a rotation at left tackle. We still ran the ball 9th best in the league with being down, and that's what people forget. We were in a lot of close games last year. We did run the ball successfully with a rotation. Nathan Thomas, we even had Tyler Smith play the game at left tackle. If we can get that situation where he stays healthy, we'll be fine, more than fine. But again, ifs and buts.
Yep.
He's a big question mark. So much so that they went in round 4 and drafted Drew Shelton out of Penn State, a left tackle.
Left tackle, yeah.
So Drew Shelton, welcome.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome Tyler Guyton, and then we got Nate Thomas, and
Nate Thomas,
I
love the interior guys that we got, in the sense, of course, bringing TJ Bass back. I think that was always a big
Johnny
name,
Cornelius, your guy from last year. So
yes, and then you have, of course, Hennessy, right?
You got Matt Hennessy, you got Trevor
pickup.
Keegan, they got from the Eagles.
Good depth.
Yep.
So I think, again,
TJ
I'm feeling
Bass,
good about the offensive line. I feel good about Clayton Adams coaching that offensive line as well too. So I think I really like who we have in place in the sense of the coaching staff, because when I look at the talent level that he had at Arizona, and the fact that he still had a top running game there, that's what excites me, because I need to see these guys develop, and that's what we need, your offensive line to develop. Going a little bit further out, I think, because offensive line isn't probably the least question out of everything. But when you look at the tight end, I think this is where me and you are going to disagree a little bit. When I look at the tight end, I think this is if you're going to improve anything on this offense, this is the position you needed to improve on. You needed to bring somebody in. I know we've talked about Michael Tiggs. What was his name?
Michael Trigg.
There it is. Yeah. When I look at his tape in general, I really like the big body. I really like how he moves, stuff like that. But I think there's just a lot of slow movement there, a lot of Jason Witten. So unless you're going to really kind of like, I know my routes, I'm really good at it, and it doesn't matter because I'm going to be able to make myself open. A big guy, so he's a big target.
Red zone target.
But I think if there's linebackers,
a
a safety that's going to be aggressive, I think they can eliminate him. So I think there's he needs to transition hugely into the NFL. It needs to definitely, again, a big theme that's going through this team is he needs to hit the peanut butter. They need to gain some weight. They need to hit the weight room. These are going to be different guys that you're going to be going against with and Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and the 3-day week, a 7-day week. So I think there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to test them. But when I look at Jake Ferguson, that dude needs to prove his shit. I mean, I love his tenacity and I love his attitude. But you got paid and everything, got injured. You're there, you're not there, and stuff like that. Where the hell were you? I think he needs to make a big transition. Luke Schoonmaker, I'm done with him. I don't get excited about it if he makes a catch. If all of a sudden he put up 500 yards in 2 games, guess what? I'm not going to jump on the Luke Schoonmaker bandwagon. I just think we should be pushing away from him. And yeah, what else do you have there? I love spraying forward, but again, he needs to transition as well, because at times he would disappear and stuff. So I need to see a lot of more consistency from a tight end room that looks like it has potential and talent, but I have not seen that shit. And you need to be on your game if you want to be a part of this running game, being a part of this passing game, because guess what? We have a lot more weapons on this team that will be putting up with your slow asses and stuff. So
Jake Ferguson had a great year last year, but it was interesting. He had 82 catches. I mean, that's pretty good for a tight end. Played all 17 games.
His problem
was,
who you talking about?
No, Jake Ferguson. He had 82 catches in the NFL last year, but for only 600 yards, a career low of 7.3 yards. He did have 8 touchdowns last year, but he fumbled 3 times. He lost
and I remember those big ones. Those are some big ones that we needed. I remember that.
Shout out Chris Dooley.
Farm Boy says, Mark Hutchins says, just because. Thank you so much for the super chat. Chris Dooley says, Guyton has started. What he says? Guyton has started in 21 games, also 21 penalties. Honestly, to tell you the truth, anything that's not Chaz Green, because I still have nightmares of that Chaz Green Atlanta game. He was just a turnstile, not even one of those good New York turnstiles, where he's trying to keep people out, but they're still trying to sneak in there. He was just a straight up, he was so lost in that game. And so I've had such a PTSD when it comes to our tackles and having that. But I agree with you, man. Guyton, yeah, I feel like sometimes he's playing a little scared out there. And so I really need to see him really kind of, again, bring up his game. But what are you looking at when you're talking about the tight ends? You're talking about Jake Ferguson. So how, Luke Schoonmaker, what did you say about Luke Schoonmaker?
This is it for him as far as I'm concerned. This is it as far as I mean, I like him, but I think we're all frustrated with Luke Schoonmaker. It really hasn't, he hasn't hit. Let's just be honest. He hasn't lived up to expectations. He was a surprise pick by me in the first place when they took him. We're like, really? He has potential, but I think he is what he is. I like Brevin Spanford. I know Schoonmaker is number 2 on the depth chart. I like Brevin Spanford, and then Michael Trigg and DJ Rogers. They're the 2 rookies that we got.
Yeah, that's why when I talk about Schoonmaker could all of a sudden
I
throw
would love
500 games,
one,
all of 500 yards in 2 or 3 games and stuff, and that wouldn't surprise me because he has the pedigree there. I saw it in college where he was blocking, he was catching stuff, he was catching balls in the end zone. He was just there for his guy. I've seen a lot of drops. It just feels like concentration type of issues where he's just not in the game 100%. He's not in every single play 100%. You don't know when you're going to get the ball. You need to kind of run out there like you are. I don't know if it's a pressure or what it is, but I've seen him be able to do it. So if he just did it, it wouldn't be surprising. But again, if he just did it out of nowhere, I'm not going to be jumping on his bandwagon. I was like, his contract year, he just all of a sudden balling. What a surprise there. I would just hope that you can just he'll move on and a team would actually want to sign him good. Because you're hoping that he has a great year and he's able to, so we can get a good, but you're not going to get your second round pick value back for him. Or was it first? Was it a first? No, second round, right? Yeah.
It was a second round pick. Yeah.
So, but anyways, that's where I'm, the tight end position, I think everybody needs to make a step up. I do like some of the talent that's there, but everybody needs to make that transition. I think even the coach there, was it Wells or Lund Wells?
Well, yeah, Lunda Wells, yeah.
So I think even with him, he needs to bring up his game because your whole, to me, Schoonmaker made a hell of a transition last year. From what, man? Like that, it's like our defense right now. It was like, that defense made a hell of a transition because they were almost last. I mean, that's the only reason why they look better. The same thing kind of to him is just like he looked so terrible that year before. Of course, he's gonna look a little bit better, and you're hoping that's what happens.
Yeah.
He doesn't get worse, because if he does, it's just like, man, how the hell did you, have you ever played an NBA 2K game and you're like, how the hell does this guy shoot? He can't even make a layup. It's like how he would if he was real. If my 2K guy was real, he would not make the NBA. He can't even make a layup right now. And so I kind of feel like that. Like, why the hell are you even here? But transitioning from the tight end position to an exciting position I think we have on this team is the wide receiver position. I think there is a lot of potential here. Yes, I think there's a lot of potential here, and even trade bait. Let's be real. If you're looking for another possibility of getting somebody, I think you might have some stuff here. I do like the roster that's been put in front of us in the sense of the wide receivers. You're not going to be able to get all stars all over your wide receiver core because everybody wants those type of stars are going to want the ball all the time, and you can't play everybody all the time. So when you're looking at the right amount of stars with the right amount of complementary guys, I think you're balanced right now, and you got guys that kind of in the same sense of the tight end, but they need to prove something. When you're looking at CeeDee Lamb. How much do you need to prove? I don't know, but I'm going to see in the back of his head he has to have something that he needs to prove. When you're looking at Pickens, can I be a team player type of guy? Can I repeat another successful season? Can I keep my cool when things are happening? I think there's a lot to clean up his reputation. When you're looking at Mingo, whether he has a 4th round pick, I think that has been his stain right now, that he hasn't been able to live up to even that. And so he needs to be able to clean up that particular part of that reputation. Valdez Scantling, I think, he's a journeyman, does he need to be able to clean that up in the sense to have become an actual weapon? that people want on their team. Does he bring up his value for the next following year? So I think there's a lot of things, even in the sense of the wide receiver, where we have a lot of potential. There's a lot of cleaning up that still needs to be done. But when I look at the overall, I really like it. So when a guy like Paris Campbell, was it Paris Campbell? Did I get that right? He retires.
Paris Campbell retired. Yeah.
Yeah. When he retires, I'm like, well, I see why you retired. I mean,
he
you were
saw the
injured
writing
last
on the
year, right?
wall.
Wasn't he in the
He
Brady
was
champ?
with
He
the
was
Colts,
injured?
the Giants, and the Eagles.
Yeah.
And this was his 4th team, and it's his 2nd stint. He saw the writing on the wall. I love our wide receiver room. And just, obviously you got Lamb,
Cooper as well.
Pickens, and Flournoy. You got, Marquez, Valdez, Scantling. I think he'll stick. Maybe.
I don't even know. You don't even know because remember what was
But
his
I
name?
think, and then you got Jonathan Mingo, who's okay. He's now that Tolbert's gone. But I'm very, very excited about our young guys.
Cropper, right? Cropper, and then I like my guy Holden. I'm interested.
Now,
to
well,
see
you got
what he does.
Trayshawn Holding and Anthony Smith, the
That one,
7th
I
round
forget about
draft
him.
pick this
Forget
year.
about
Anthony Smith is he's lightning fast. Lightning fast. He's faster than Trayshawn Holden. Again, just keep an eye out for Anthony Smith. He's talking a big game. And then obviously we got Jordan Hudson and Camden Brown, probably practice squad guys. But it'll be interesting because how many do you think we're going to keep, Phil?
I would say 6. I would say 6 on the roster. Because you got to get
So-
Turpin in there. Turpin counts as 1. He's your punt returner. He'll be your
So
6 guys.
five,
So you got 5,
then.
not counting Turpin. Yeah.
So you figure Pickens, Lamb, Flournoy. And then
And Cropper was a star, so I don't know how you
think
don't
he's
add him
gone,
in
yeah.
there. Is he
He-
gone? Did he get
yeah,
signed by
he's
somewhere
not
else?
on the team.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
I
not
mean,
with us anymore.
I didn't catch that at all. So
Yeah, Jalen Moreno Cropper. I don't see him on here, so I think
I don't remember seeing him on
they
there.
released him at the end of the year. So it'll be interesting. You got Scantling, Mingo, Anthony Smith. I think everybody's gonna fall in love with this kid. And then Trayshawn Holden from last year. He was exciting, but he's not the fastest guy from the University of Oregon. I think
Good
there's a spot,
complimentary
maybe
guy.
practice squad again.
Yeah, I think so too.
You got Tyler Johnson, that they signed from the Jets. Again, I think he's another lightning fast guy.
I mean, you have a potential. I mean, when you look at like,
Yeah.
remember Danny Amendola? You remember him?
Yes.
Remember when he
yes.
got drafted by the Cowboys and like?
Oh, yeah, he was in,
our
the
Hard Knocks and everything like that.
San Antonio? Yep.
Yes. So like I
Alamo
remember when he was
Dome.
on the team, and then all of a sudden he gets released. He's a journeyman, and then all of a sudden he becomes part of the Patriots thing, and now I see him on TV with shades on, looking all Mr. Miami and California-ish. So I'm like, man, that guy. I remember when that guy was on Hard Knocks and stuff like that. So you don't know
Brian
who you're going to
Doyle, yes.
release and who you're going to keep, but when I saw that Tolbert obviously didn't get returning call back, I was very happy. I know that had to be a big thing, a big decision, because obviously anytime you heard about Dak working out in the offseason, Tolbert was always there. But with all that offseason workout, it just to me never was something that transitioned to the NFL games. When I say that, where I was hoping, where I thought Jalen Tolbert, honestly, when I saw him, I thought of a Terrence William, where I thought he was going to be a hell of a complimentary guy that's going to be do the
he
toe
just
tapping and everything like that, and then just
He would surprise you every once in a while.
once in a while, and everything like that. You're like, oh look, he can play and everything. And so, but yeah, I mean, I was very happy to kind of see that finally that page kind of be turned, because of obviously who has to be let go in order to keep him on the roster. But I think when you got a guy like with this offense, I think all those wide receivers can definitely benefit, because I don't think it's designed particularly for a particular slot receiver or a certain the X receiver or whatever, in the sense of what you want to talk about. I think there's just a lot of layers to this offense, and so I think everybody kind of needs to, again, like I said about Schoonmaker, you need to be able to be ready, because you don't know when your number is going to be called, and you got to go out every single play. And I think these guys take it for granted sometimes, So, with that transition, I think we need to go even higher when you're talking about this roster and cleaning it up. Cleaning up reputation, when you're talking about this coaching staff, and I think we're going to end up finishing with the Joneses as well. But when you're looking at this coaching staff, Brian Schottenheimer coming in his first year, not getting the keys to the reign. Let's be real, man. You're like, okay, look, man, here's a nice used car. and you're going to do it because there's already a problem in the back wheel with the defensive coordinator and stuff that we didn't learn from our first time with Nolan Smith or whatever the hell his name was, and Mike McCarthy. Oh, that first time wasn't a great one until he was able to pick his defensive coordinator. Oh, same thing happens again. Repeating stuff and hoping different results is what? Isn't it the definition of insanity? So when you look at how they approach this season, Schottenheimer heard those talks when it came to Jerry. Oh yeah, Bryan signed off on it and stuff like that. He's like, what the hell? He's like, oh, my name is going to be signed to this, so we need to do this differently. I'm not going to just allow any Tom, Dick, and Harry to come in here and coach this defense because I give him credit for holding his tongue and saying what he said in that little, I think ESPN little thing that they had. There was something about the offseason. There was one where he was talking about the firing of Eberflus. I don't remember where I saw that, but when you saw him kind of transition that, previous years, it would have been like boom, boom. They would have dragged it out. And I know we've talked about this before, but this is something that would have been dragged out for a couple of weeks. We would have brought in an ed coach and stuff like that. Them going through that tedious, I'm going to interview everybody. Everybody can't come there. I know us as me as a fan, I was looking for the Leonard. What was it? Something like that from Denver. I don't know how well he was going to be doing as well in general, but
Leonard,
you just want to get excited about your defensive coordinator, and the fact that they go out and they get a Christian Parker, obviously has not taken one single snap in the NFL or directed a single snap in the NFL, but in the sense of what we had here and the fact that you see him working with rookies out there immediately after practice, trying to improve their game. That's just something that I wasn't seeing a lot. I mean, I saw Dan Quinn doing that stuff, but when the moment I saw Dan Quinn shift over to the booth during the game, I thought that wasn't right. I'm like, I want my defensive coordinator right there, yelling at the guys, talking to the guys on the sideline. Not, hey, can you give him a call up there? When I look you in the eyes and I'm telling you off about being off positions, it's a little bit different than hearing it on the phone. So to me, I think I'm hoping that there is that defensive coordinator on the sideline type of approach here. But when you're looking at the hiring, I think, again, I got to give them an applause in the sense of at least changing that approach. Now, whether it strikes gold or does anything, we don't know. But I'm just happy that it was a different story. At least if it fails, it failed differently and it wasn't the same repeated mess. But how are you liking? Of course, I'm going to say this again, and we're going to say this over and over again until the off-season ends. But how are you liking Christian Parkin's hiring, or in general, the defensive coordinators and stuff within there, the linebacker coach, the defensive line coach, so on?
Yeah, I'm okay with everything that they've done. Now we need to say, just see it on the field. I mean, I'm just over the talk. It's great. We got Christian Parker. We're letting go good players like Osa. You're choosing not to, bring back Jadeveon Clowney, who might have been our best pass rusher last year. I just hope there's a rhyme or reason. I'm not here to be negative. I'm just saying.
No, I'm with you, man. They're all rookies, right? They're all rookies. Even the coach.
I mean, he's not a miracle worker. So,
amen to that.
Let's just see how good. I think just them being on the same page. I'm more concerned, and you brought up, front all. I mean, I'll jump to it, but listen. On paper, everything seems to be good on the defense, but again, you don't win games on paper. You need to go out there. We all know that they still may be a linebacker away, depending on. I mean, I know the bodies wise, and I know who they like, but when I transition into my frustration with the football team, it is their willingness to go only so far when it comes to spending money in the roster. It's just like they are unwilling to, and please forgive me with the analogy, Phil, is put their nuts on the table. Just put them on the, just put them out there. You got to risk it a little bit, your salary cap wise, get a little uncomfortable with pushing money out into the future to bring in one or two more veteran bodies, Phil. And that's where, if I have any criticism, it's I like everything they've done, but they were in on Max Crosby, and they didn't the job done because of whatever, the health of the player. You drafted a young one. Well, Max Crosby and Malachi Lawrence. You tell me, right? I mean, this is, Malachi. Yeah, I mean, he could eventually be up here, but he ain't there now, right? He's a rookie, and we'll see.
Yeah, nobody's going to come in here game planning. Oh, we got to take Malachi out.
So that's where my issue is. If there's a chance to get a generational player like a Myles Garrett, I know it would take a lot. To Marcus Blackman's point, okay, somebody's going to do it. You think the Eagles wouldn't want to take back Reggie White leaving? Because that's what we're talking about. If Myles Garrett gets traded to the Eagles or anybody else and you weren't even in on it, then shame on you. Yeah. Because he's the best defensive player possibly to ever do it. And he's still in his prime. He'll play this year at 29. If he leaves Cleveland to go to the Eagles, then shame on you for not even getting into the ballpark. That's where I'm holding my breath with this organization. They've done a lot.
I think one of those things where, is he a difference maker? Can he be a difference maker? Can he be a wrecker? When the game's on the line? Yeah. Yes. All that kind of stuff. Yes. But are you one guy away on this team? And, I don't think that's what it is. And to give up your future for that, whether it's three, two first round draft picks, I could definitely be about. But you're looking at three with maybe a player, and I don't know if I'm willing to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, you would probably have to give up 2 1s, a pick, and Ezeraku. The prices come down a little bit. Again, you'd have to give up the next year.
And then take on the contract, obviously, as well, too.
Like, he had 2 picks in 2028, and you'd have to give up Donovan Ezeraku.
And I think he could take you and make you a better team. But again, like, I just think...
You put him on the outside with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark on the inside. The offense is effed. Just like if he goes to the Eagles.
Passes.
If they're able to keep the Jalen Carter, which is, I think that would be the problem.
Yeah, I just don't. I just think you kind of put yourself in a situation. I'm not for it, just because I just don't think you're that one dude away from it. And I don't think, like, even if you were halfway, like, let's say you were at average defense, and then that one guy was like, okay, I need to take ours from average to maybe top 10. Then you're doing that. But I think even with you add
that's what they said with the Dallas defense, right? That's what they said with the Dallas defense. That's what people said back in the day with the Cowboy defense, right up until they got Charles Haley. Then they started winning, So I hear what you're saying. I do. I'm not saying they're going to do it.
No. Obviously,
but he's going to get traded to somebody, and if you don't, you kick the tires on it. So my question is, how many wins do you think they're going to win this year?
Who?
I mean, you don't have to get specific,
Cleveland?
But no, Dallas.
Come on, man.
If you had a...
We really
I'm not saying double digits. Can we just say that?
I would say 10. 10 would be my number.
Okay, so now you're talking next year's pick will be 23-ish. Yeah. Okay, let's say they don't, or hey, let's say they win a playoff game and you end up like, a 25, 26, 27, right? Okay, so that's 27th a pick in the draft next year, and then you give up another first round pick. I just saying. They were already willing to do it with a Max Crosby. They were already willing to do it. Well, Myles Garrett is in another stratosphere than Max Crosby. I'm only bringing that up because
but at the same time, Max Crosby shuts his mouth and Myles runs his freaking mouth too. So
Myles is a beast, though. He's a two-way player. I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying if they're not in on it, if you're asking me what my one thing is with this front office, okay, well, why are we not? I mean. I like their depth at certain positions, but why aren't we making sure that, the old adage, if you think you got a hole, you don't buy one, you buy two. Like you don't get one guy, you get 2 guys.
Yeah.
And hopefully one of them will work.
Yep.
I feel like they're just a little thin, like in a few areas.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at it, like whether they have gotten talent in there. Them getting in there, what's the GM supposed to do? Go out, get talent. Go out and find talent. Bring talent and stuff. So there has been there. Now, the problem is all the other stuff. Once you get past that main talent, is all that we're just hoping that we picked this guy that was valued at a first round pick and give you a 4 for him, and hopefully they'll hit. Like, that's just gambling. That's what you're doing. You're doing all that kind of gambling as well. So, why are you not doing that? Well, I mean, I think, it's kind of like when you get older, that midlife crisis type of thing. I'm not immortal, you're like, oh, I am a little bit flawed. And when you're sitting there as a young Jerry, he was just out there like, I need to prove myself. I'm a Wild West kind of gunslinger, maverick situation. And now he's more of a like, well, I don't really want to step on somebody's grass, like he doesn't have that same. Let's be real. And you said it earlier. He didn't put his nuts on the table. He doesn't have the same cojones as he does.
Yeah,
and if you say that to his face, he's not going to like that. But does
There's
Steven
time.
have that? Hell no. Steven ain't like that. Steven's
There's
the
still
opposite.
time. No, he's looking at the
He's more of
bottom
a
line
pussycat.
and looking
He's
at
more of a-
next year's cap and the following year's
it's
cap.
a business to them and stuff, at the
Yeah,
same time,
yeah.
Like, they've changed it a little bit in the sense because they're allowing people like Brian Schottenheimer or Parker to do more of his thing, more football-minded guys compared to the business side of it. And so they're just kind of backing those type of situations. And I think that's what they should have been from the beginning. But guess what? It takes them really kind of shit in the bed in order for them to start changing a little bit of their ways. But when it comes to some of these trades that they've made more recently, I've liked more of the more recent trades that they've had.
I mean, look at what Washington did. Yes, like they went out and got 2 edge rushers. I mean, don't get me wrong. We did bring in bodies. I just don't like relying on rookies. I mean, outside of the blue chip, absolute. I got to close my door.
Well, yeah. I mean, you always got those guys. You got at least 2 guys you should be bringing into your roster from the draft that should be an impactful player that you should be relying on. Now, you're hoping that you have somebody already in that spot and that you're like, oh, man, we just had to pick this position because he was the best player available. It was just screaming at us to pick this guy. I like having this kind of problem, 2 guys in this position. I don't know who to start. I love the controversy. You love those type of things. I think that's what you should be bringing to the team that's so talented is that you should be bringing more talent. You should be making competition for a guy that's sitting there like, oh, I'm very comfortable because I'm their main Like with the Eagles, yeah. Like when you look at the wide receiver, until AJ is gone, to me he's not. And the fact that you made your wide receiver room a lot stronger, I would love to see that as a team as well too for us. I mean, I want to see our team getting stronger. So when you look at our receiving core, and then they went ahead and they brought in Smith at the end, that was a surprise for me. A talent that I never even saw. So I'm interested to see how he can transition to the NFL, just to see him in a preseason game. I'm interested to see. Can he run past the cornerbacks in this league? So again, a lot of question marks throughout this whole team, but until the front office cleans up a little bit more of their act, I know I know what we were saying earlier in the sense of, oh, we want to go out there, we want to be aggressive, we want to go and spend money. Did you think this offseason that there was an abundance of talent out there?
There's still abundance of talent.
Well, there is, but I didn't think there was like this, the man, like, oh, that's the guy this offseason.
If they wanted to go out and get Jordan Brooks, you would have had an all-pro linebacker. Instead, you went with D. Winters, a little bit more of a risk. You did it 1 year. That would have been good if you wanted to go out and say, all right, well, and pull the trigger on an edge rusher. You saw the Eagles go out and get Jonathan Grenard. As opposed to drafting Malachi Lawrence, you could have given up, and you could have got Max Crosby if you believe in him, or go out and get a Grenard or whoever. You could have done other things. They decided to make trades and go young. I love Caleb Downs. Don't get me wrong, but again, these are all rookies. They're all going to have some sort of learning curve. That's what I'm telling everybody. Like we traded for Rashawn Gary. I love the move. I'm just saying. If you're asking me any of the things,
is it the answer? Yeah, there's a lot of question marks.
It's part of it, but it's not the answer. No, it's not. So, that's why if you're asking me any thing that I'm a little concerned about is,
Still a defense.
it's just the front office not really not just laying it on the table. That's about as graphic as I could say. It's just
let's be real, man. You'd probably be saving $20 million a year just on your quarterback if you were to just have signed him at the time that you should have signed him.
There's still time, people. There's still time. I expect a lot of movement late this year. I think all these teams are gonna see what they got.
I'm interested to see what happens next week, right? June 1st is right around the corner.
Post June 1. Now we're seeing headlines that the trade with New England's a done deal. That's this evening Pro Football Talk, that the AJ Brown deal is done with New England. They will talk about it after, I guess, Monday is the earliest they'll be able to admit it. So I don't know if it's a multi-year deal with. I know Drew sent me something that would be fantastic for the Eagles, but I don't really buy it. But I mean, it's.
Yeah, but we saw Dexter Lawrence go off real quickly and get a good value for his as well too. So I mean, hey, anything's possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I don't think, but I mean, hey, if Howie could do something like that, that would be fantastic for the Birds. So it was a 3-team trade with AJ going to New England. New England sending a 1 to Cleveland. Eagles sending Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, and the backup quarterback to Cleveland with 2 number 1. So Cleveland will get rid of Grant Delpit to the Eagles and Myles Garrett. The Cleveland would end up with 3 number 1s, Tanner McKee, Jalix Hunt, and Nolan Smith. That would be fantastic if Howie could do something like that. But we're hearing that the deal is done with New England. It's probably a 1. Who knows? It better be a 1 if I'm an Eagle fan. But stay tuned. We'll talk about that next week when it's official. So, but yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I mean, we've already gotten about an hour and 40 minutes, which I think is really good.
Yeah, we
we're
talked
talking about
a lot.
the cleanup of this team. I think there's a lot of questions. I think there's a lot of when you look at every single position, there's still a lot of things to prove. There's a lot of question marks, even with the talented part of your rosters. I think those are the ones that you're going to have to either get value in the sense of trading for positions you definitely need, and those are going to be your bait there, or it's going to be one of those things where you're going to be a little bit top heavy in certain positions compared to other positions where you're going to be a little really weak. Linebacker core, I think, is definitely one of those things where we still need to improve on. I like the improvement, but again, I still think that's something to be desired. What's going to happen with the tackle position, the tight end positions and stuff at this team. These are positions that need to step up this year in order for this team to even stay elevated to what they were last year. And not to say that they can't get better, but we talked about with Bryan, I think your overall team can be definitely better if your offense isn't putting up as much stat. That means your defense is holding stuff. But then again, that's to say, hey, is your defense making stops, and that's why your offense is scoring so many or getting so many yards. So I think that has something to say as well too. So what type of defense are you complimenting? Is it that bend but don't break defense because you don't have all the skilled players that you need to run your type of defense? You don't have all those football minds running around on the field, or are we still lost? I mean, I saw a huge transition from where we let go compared to what we got brought in for the defense, and that's really what you can do is just try to answer those questions with making moves, and I think that's something that we've lacked in previous years. So did we go out and get all the talent that we could in the sense of a Crosby type of trade or a Garrett in the possible future? No, but do we have faith that they're going to go out and make that move? No. But at the same time, have you improved? Yes, I think you definitely improved as well too. Is it enough to improve and clean up some of this bad reputation that this team has had in this defense? I think that's going to be a lot to question mark. So Bryan, thank you for coming through. Thank you for answering some of these questions and talking about these subjects as well. Anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Nah, man. Just stay tuned till next week. The post June 1, things will be heating back up. Dallas has their another OTA. They're coming hot and heavy. So we are getting closer to football. So stay tuned. We'll have all the news here next week. Of course, post June 1. Are there anything more moves left to happen, Phil? We shall see.
Yeah, I think that always gets very interesting, especially when you're people trying to just dump in the sense of rosters and salaries and everything as well, too. So, Bryan, I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate everybody else with the comments and love and everything in the super chats. Thank you very much, guys. But one thing I appreciate you not forgetting to do.
Ring that bell.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do? You're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you. Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
Gametime, Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
I don't know what it is yet, but it could be a lot of things.
Come on, are you gonna tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, Gametime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000. I don't even need to hear it.